Okay. And what can people? I mean, what's the future for two things? One, in a sort of more micro level, where do you see the ULEZ, or what in terms of the campaigning and stuff? What do you see going with that? And two, what is in terms of on a national level? I mean, obviously, I
As
know
you can
obviously
see,
you. I know obviously you're on a live feed here,
I'm well
but
keyed
what I'm
into
saying,
the
what is the future of the
national thing, as you can
Conservative
tell.
Party? Go
So,
on.
sorry, repeat that again, Sean. I missed it.
So what I'm saying is that where, because obviously a lot of people have. I'm not a voter at all personally. To me, I don't think that is the solution to. I don't think you can vote your way out of this. I don't think there's a political solution with what not the ULEZ I'm talking about in the just as well as the ULEZ. There's many other things that is going on in this country right now. I think we're very slowly becoming a high authoritarian, tyrannical state at the moment. Not just in terms of, well, you're seeing what's happening with Starmer ever since he's got in power, with 2,000 arrests that the state has made, calling them all criminals on the official Home Office Twitter account before they've even stepped into the courtroom. Therefore biasing the sort. I do think that there is two-tier justice. What do you first see with the ULEZ campaign? And where do you see this country going in, say, 5 years' time, let's say?
Oh, all right. Let me put my Mystic Meg hat on now. First of all, the ULEZ campaign. Actually, it's already been proven. I don't know if I told you this already, but we had a report to Bromley Environment Committee recently that said, oh, let's have a look at the air quality data. And it said, definitely no conclusion that ULEZ has made any difference whatsoever. That was a report to our committee. And well, it's not a surprise to those of us that knew about this sort of thing.
But Simon, sorry to interrupt. What do they actually listen to that though? Because I think that there is a world agenda going on. You're getting all of these local councils in all sorts of countries, and they're all coming up with coincidentally the same idea as everywhere else. These 15-minute neighborhoods and these, whatever smart cities, whatever you want to call them.
We got
I don't think they really want to listen to this, Simon. They don't really. They've got this agenda. They want to put this in full force, and they're not interested in what reports are being given. I mean, anyone can pay any scientist to write any kind of report as long as the money's good. They can just incentivize them to say whatever, can't they? So, what makes you think that those reports are actually going to do anything?
Don't disagree with that. I mean, our report, was written independently, so you could say that. But we were also a little more on the ball to make sure that things are reported fairly. So there is that element to it. And that's the thing that local people can do, going back to it. In terms of the future, I think everything has to be reviewed, and I hope that any future candidate for mayor will say, look, actually, I can't say what's going to happen because frankly, the ULEZ was only introduced for money. And if you can show that it's actually not valid, it's not really financially viable, then you might want to get rid of it all. And also, if it's done its job, as Mr. Khan claims it has, then why do we need it? Simple as that.
You see, I don't think, Simon, that it really is for money. I think if it does make a bit of money, then fine. But I think ultimately that it's, like I said earlier, it's really about control. I don't think they really care about how much money it costs, because at the end of the day, they can just raise taxes, or even more simpler, they can just print money, which we saw during the whole COVID era, where they printed billions and billions and billions of pounds. And this is the real reason why things are going up. Costs of services, costs of products are going up. It's because we're at least £3 trillion in debt now that they're willing to tell us about. That's not even including the pensions. So
all the stuff off the books,
So that's what I mean. They have an unlimited printing machine, this counterfeiting of money that we call, what is it? Quantitative easing. Well, I generally don't think they care about whether it makes money or not. I think ultimately, again, it's as conspiratorial as this may sound to you. I think it is generally about controlling the masses, controlling people. So if you produce this report and say, "Oh, it isn't financially, viable," it's just they won't. They don't care. Like ultimately, I think it's just.
But I think the person in charge can ultimately care and change that. And as I said, politics is the art of the possible, and you've got to say to people, no, actually, everything's up for review if you're doing it, because some of these things, low traffic neighbourhoods, etc., they actually cause just as many problems as they might theoretically solve. And so, to my mind, that's the future. It's about reviewing it. And I actually believe that if you can be positive to people and explain that actually, you have a vision that's just positive, and that actually you want to unburden people from the state, that actually things like 15-minute cities and all the rest of it are sort of irrelevant, and the war on the motorist is real, and that's got to be tackled, then actually, ultimately people will respond, and people always respond to a positive message. I could be doomy and gloomy about it and say, oh, woe is me, Khan is terrible, which is all true, but the fact is, people are more likely to respond to something positive that's going to make them feel good, that make them feel positive. And that's where too many of our opposition MPs of all parties tend to be, oh, this is really, really bad. Actually, forget criticizing them. Tell people the positive things that you're going to do. And that way, people will respond. That's my view. I think, and I would encourage people to do that. But we can only do it through democratic change. Otherwise, as you say, these things become entrenched. The longer they're there, the more entrenched they become, the worse it is for people. You then not only get the police and everybody enforcing fines and bailiffs and all the rest of it, and court orders, and etc., and it just escalates and escalates. So that, as I said to you earlier, the state is in control of everything. It's all about the state enslaving you.